It was hard work. I was building a business from scratch, $0 to $3.4 million a year for 12 to 15 years. It's a long time. And I was doing everything right. I was on social media. I was driving it really hard. I was a pharmacist. I was a retail manager. I had to do everything. You poured everything into it. I remember doing 14 days straight as a pharmacist. I don't know how I survived those days, but I did. It took 7 years for us to break even, to make money. At that stage, felt like I had a lot of power because I am sitting on COVID vaccinations. I can decide who to give the last dose to. And I was like, hang on a minute, I don't like this power.
Lee Tan, a former pharmacist, opens up about the reality of pharmacy ownership in New Zealand, the COVID days, and dealing with competition.
The emotional toll was real.
It was 15 years of hard work just down the drain.
Why is it so powerful for you? Why is this causing emotions?
Well, I was building a community in Dunedin, and you pour everything into it.
Welcome, Lee, to the show. Good to have you.
Good to be here. Love it.
All the way from Dunedin, or I would say Arrowtown, which is 4 hours?
Three and a half, yeah.
3.5 hours. Flights in New Zealand, for people who don't know New Zealand geography.
Actually, it's 1.5 hours from Auckland flying. It's only 1.5 hours from Auckland to Queenstown.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not that far away.
Not far.
Yeah.
It's been great to see the way that you've done business and health, because as you people have noticed that you're a pharmacist, lifestyle medicine, mental health, metabolic health. You have many hats and you're such an entrepreneur. The reason why people should stick to the end of this podcast, I mean, I have an answer for that, but why would they do that, do you think?
I think I combine years of experience as a health professional, a business owner, but over the last few years, I think I've really gotten to know all the practical tips, like biologically, when you're stressed, what you should do to get yourself out of that physiological state. So I think over the last 5 years, I've definitely, through my coaching education, I've learned all that. And I think when life gets tough, you need to know how to get out of those situations. So that's why you should listen all the way to the end.
All the way to the end. So you started in as a pharmacist, because we want to get a bit of a background, delve deeper into the background. You're a pharmacist, and you started pharmacy when you were 26.
I bought my first pharmacy when I was 26 years old. I was working up in Auckland as an intern pharmacist, just qualified, and a family friend was like, I'm selling my pharmacy in Dunedin. Do you want to come back down to Dunedin? Because I had gone to university down at Otago. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I have grown up in a business environment. My parents own hardware stores. So I've grown up in a business environment, and I love business and health. And I think pharmacy is actually a great integration of both.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
I mean, how have you found pharmacy as a business? A lot of people, some people who are listening to this podcast, watching, could be pharmacists, could be pharmacy owners. I have a lot of friends who are. I obviously have a pharmacy background myself, so this conversation is really relevant and exciting, because I've never sat down with a pharmacist business owner to discuss what's it really like to be doing business as a pharmacist in New Zealand. In
the good old days, as a lot of us will say, because that was nearly 30 years ago that I bought my first pharmacy. So things were a lot easier then. Life was not as complicated. People were not as sick, and it was a lot easier. So as we know, with technology, with now AI, and with the recent global event, things have just gotten a lot harder. I would say that in the good old days, it was a good business model.
Can I just delve deep into that? Because good old days, there's two separate things. The good old days, business was good, meaning revenue was good, and health was good, meaning less stress. So there's two different even categories of how life used to be. I want to delve into both. I want to understand, why was it a good business model? Because it sounds like it's not anymore. It sounds like from what you were talking about, like, and you're shaking your head now going, no, it's not. And maybe people listening, maybe they agree. Why? What's the shift? Why was it so good? Maybe briefly, because we want to get into what's going on now, and then what do you see happen in the future as well?
I think more than 30 years ago, online wasn't really a thing. And so people will go into the community pharmacy to seek advice, and they will buy everything you recommend. Whereas nowadays, there's just more choices. And over the last 3 decades, it has gotten even more so. There's just more options nowadays. So I think that's in a way why it has gotten that much harder. So I had sold the first pharmacy within about 5 years owning it, because we were moving overseas. So when I came back to New Zealand, I was given an opportunity to partner with a major pharmacy retail group to set up one of their beauty retail pharmacies in Dunedin. So it was in my blood, right? Because I had started at a life pharmacy in Pakuranga up in Auckland. So I was like, yeah, I got to do it. I've got to do it. Yeah. So then I got into the corporate side of pharmacy. Yeah. Because I was only a business partner. So I was a business manager, but I also have shareholding in it. So quite a different model once again. Yeah. So I guess I only had a full 100% ownership for about 4 to 5 years in the good old days.
Right.
And then it changed.
Yeah. How was business? How long were you a business owner as a pharmacist, business owner? How long?
So the first one for 4.5 years. And then when we started Life Pharmacy in Dunedin, that was about 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a few years before we closed that store due to a recent, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I had bought into another pharmacy, another Unichem.
Right.
And that was, about 5 years before we closed the Life Pharmacy store.
So how many pharmacies in total were you in charge of?
3.
3 pharmacies.
Over the span of the last 20 odd years.
20 odd years. It's really interesting that you say that, because how did you find being a pharmacist owner? What would you give to those years? And when you reflect back, what sort of feeling do you get?
I think I was at a different age at that time, right? Because you're at a different life stage. So that was because I had to build the business from scratch, because it was a completely brand new store. We had just come out of the global financial crisis. Things were tough, and half the mall was not opened. And so I have to hustle really, really hard. It was so hard at the beginning. Yeah. And a few months down the track, it still wasn't working. So then I kind of innovated, and we opened our Eyebrow Bar. So Brow Bar at that stage, Benefit was getting quite popular in Australia, and I had seen it in Sydney. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that would work in Dunedin. So I, came up with a proposal to head office, and they're like, okay, give it a go, because, hey, you got to do something to draw people in. And we had that for about 12 years, and lo and behold, it paid our rent. What we brought in a year paid the rent of the whole store, because we were tapping into convenience. People do not need to book appointments, and they could walk into the Brow Bar and get their beauty needs sorted.
Gotcha.
They could do it after picking up their prescriptions or while they're waiting for prescriptions. So it was super successful.
Interesting. So would you say that was like an add-on model to your business? So your business was mainly pharmacy. How did you realize that you need an eyebrow component in your pharmacy, and how did that come about? And if you can have like a framework, I mean, not a framework, but tell me, what were you thinking? Like, were you like, oh, we need some additional money-making thing in our business, or did it just pop in, or was it an opportunity? How did it come about?
So when things get tough, you just gotta you just got to get going, right? So you got to think, what am I going to lose here? I'm not going to lose anything. I'm just going to try.
Yeah.
Sure, we will spend, I don't know, a few $1,000s getting the equipment sorted. And we had space upstairs. It had a mezzanine floor. So I came up with the idea of starting a beauty services up there. So we were waxing and we were spray tanning. And we priced it at a lower price point to attract the students through the door.
Right.
So it really consolidated the fact that it was a beauty retail pharmacy. So I was lucky that I was able to jump on that bandwagon. If it was a really traditional pharmacy, it would be a lot harder. But I was lucky that we had fine fragrance and we had, Smashbox Cosmetics in those days. And we had the Lancome and the, I can't remember what other brands we had. So that was why. You see what I mean? Like things always, you just got to add value to what you already do.
Because did you own the pharmacy and then you were like, how else can I make money? Or what questions were you asking yourself that someone listening can actually ask the same questions so that they can come out with a really good innovation?
So I had said to the head office, okay, the numbers are not stacking up. We have a problem. Not enough foot traffic coming into the store. What can we do? We are short of, I don't know, let's say $10,000 a month. What can I do to drive revenue into store? And then we looked at, okay, the investment is going to be, for example, $10,000. You've got to build up a counter. You've got to buy 2 chairs. You've got to buy wax pots. I already have staff on hand that could do eyebrows, so that was lucky. So then we're like, okay, $10,000, let's sink that in and let's give it a go. And we were exactly very lucky at that stage because social media was taking off.
Right.
So you just got to jump onto whatever the trend is. I know I don't like the word trend, but I think nowadays with this technology, you just got to think of what is the next trend. Yeah, so think of what you're going to lose. And if you don't do anything, what are you going to lose? You're going to lose even more. You might lose the whole business.
The questions, 1, 2, or 3 questions that you would ask would be, what value do I add? How can I make more money?
And what is the investment? What is the outlay? Like, how, if I want to try out this model, how much is it going to cost me to try it? And can I afford to lose $10,000? And then I worked out that, okay, every day we had 150 transactions in store. So if I have 10% of those clients come through, sit on those chairs, that's 15 customers at, in those days, $20 per eyebrow. So that's $300 a day. We were open 7 days a week. Then, so you have a goal of what you want to achieve. It's like manifestations. You're like, okay, I want to bring in extra $150,000 a year. How am I going to do that? So you just really break it down into little bite-sized pieces. Yeah.
And so that ended up paying for your rent.
Yeah, which wasn't cheap. It was $180,000 a year or maybe more, $200,000.
Imagine that one little tiny service. Well, it's not tiny, but one service component.
Yep.
Why didn't you just close the pharmacy and just kept the eyebrows, since it's more profitable and had a cheaper land or building, and just expanded the beauty aspect of it?
Yeah, great question. I don't think we could, because when you are standalone eyebrow bar in the middle of the mall, you're not going to have the same impact. The story that you tell will be very, very different.
Why? Why is that?
So we were in this big store, and we were allowed to set up an eyebrow bar outside at no cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a pharmacy in the mall?
Yeah.
And the eyebrow
bar is right outside the pharmacy. So when people walk into the pharmacy, they will see the eyebrow bar.
So it's not inside the building of your pharmacy?
No.
How did that help connect that this brow place belongs to you? I suppose people went to it and went, I want to get my eyebrows done, but actually it belongs to you.
Yeah, so we, when we check out customers at the pharmacy, we just give them coupons, you give them vouchers, social media, we could do a lot then. So yeah, that's how we put two and two together, and yeah, we ran it right till the last day that we closed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also had a walk-in waxing place upstairs in the mezzanine floor. As you know, we were lucky that we had all this space, and again, that brought in another revenue. So yeah, we were extremely lucky.
And so my question is, why don't you just close pharmacy and have a beauty
That doesn't
therapy?
interest me.
It doesn't align with what you want to do.
No, it doesn't really interest me because staff management is just huge, and even getting the beauty therapist to go on Brow Bar, a lot of them did not enjoy it. But if you say to them, okay, Tuesday is your morning, and then Friday afternoon is your shift, then we were able to manage it.
To give them variety of tasks and work?
Absolutely. Yeah, because they all hated it because people were rude. People were always in a hurry. And yeah, it wasn't easy, but somehow it worked.
Isn't that interesting? And so I've actually I don't know if I've even come across a pharmacy that provided beauty care like that.
Yeah, we were the first.
Did people copy you?
Yes, they did.
Did it affect you?
Not really, because the setup was different. They did it inside their pharmacy. They have a little room inside the pharmacy. And that's just not the same, right? Because we had 3 rooms upstairs in the mezzanine floor. Before you get there, you walk through all the nice fragrance, you walk through all the nice makeup. So it's a completely different experience.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's all about experience nowadays.
Is it?
Yeah.
If you don't own you don't own a pharmacy right now.
I don't. Completely out of pharmacy. I'm a non-practicing pharmacist.
Non-practicing.
Yeah.
In fact, as the time of recording this, it's March. And for the pharmacists out there, you need to get your APC and your registration sorted if you want to practice in New Zealand. Are you on a non-practicing certificate right now?
Yes, non-practicing.
Meaning you don't work physically?
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Would you ever go back to the profession?
No, not as a dispensing pharmacist. I was always interested in the natural health side of things. I was always interested in retail and people management. So I don't want to say I did very little dispensing. I did have to do a lot of sole charge pharmacist work for the first probably about 5 years. And then after that, I stepped away and I could manage, the pharmacy in a different capacity. Yeah. Wearing a different hat. I remember doing 14 days straight as a pharmacist. And you know what that feels like. It's crazy.
That's not human.
I had to do that. Yeah. Hard work.
All right, you guys, I want to tell you about one resource that I look into and check all the time. It's helped me in my own business journey, and it's made me a better business owner, a better podcaster, helped me stay on top of all the business news that are happening in New Zealand. It's called NZBusiness Magazine. It's one of the New Zealand's oldest and most trusted sources for business stories, insights, and analysis for SME owners and leaders. So we've partnered together to help bring these kind of conversations like this one to more Kiwi entrepreneurs across New Zealand. So if you want to stay on top of what's happening in business, visit nzbusiness.co.nz today. Hello, thanks for watching this video. Quick note, have you subscribed? Over 90% of people who are watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or on Apple are not subscribed or following. Please do so now. It's so simple. The button will be around the screen somewhere. You either hit subscribe or hit the follow button or leave me a review. It will help me so much, helps me grow as a channel and support my work. So I really appreciate it. Okay, back to the episode. So we were talking about 2 things that were the good old days in business. As you know, we're still in the pharmacy sort of theme, and we were saying business was good back then, which is not news to pharmacists. But if you're a newbie pharmacist who want to own a business, you might lean in right now, because it's going to be wild what I'm going to ask next. The question is, why has it been so competitive for pharmacists, and why boutique pharmacies have been closing, dropping like flies?
Whew, topic close to my heart. It still triggers a lot of memories. Online, right, has always been a thing, and but it has gotten even more competitive since our Australian competitors moved into New Zealand. We are too small a country to absorb all that competition. And it is really sad, and I'm really proud to say to this day, I have not set foot in a Chemist Warehouse store in New Zealand.
Wow. I
did go to one in Australia, and man, and it just really brought up a lot of emotions. You could probably hear in my voice now. It was 15 years of hard work just down the drain. Yeah.
Why is it so powerful for you? Why is this causing emotions?
Well, I was building a community in Dunedin. And you pour everything into it. But having said that, there's no regrets because I've learned a lot. And you can't always blame external forces. You just got to change with the times. If you keep holding on to all the negative stuff, the resentment or whatever, then that energy that you're holding on to, you're not able to channel that into something new. So I chose to move on to something else. And this is what I talk about a lot in my coaching practices. So when Chemist Warehouse just opened in Dunedin, I saw the bags everywhere and used to trigger the same response that I'm having now. But I'm like, hang on a minute, Mr. Chemist Warehouse doesn't give a shit who I am. Why am I focusing so much of my energy into his brand? So what I then did is that I chose to look at the person and smile at them, because then straight away my body will be like, yes, a smile. So the stress hormones are not as high. Yeah, so that's how I chose to respond to seeing the logos everywhere.
Of course, this sounds like a really personal and deep impact. Like you wouldn't respond that way if you didn't care about what you did.
Oh, it was hard work. I was building a business from scratch. $0 to, $3.5-4 million a year, for 12 to 15 years is a long time. And I was doing everything, right? I was on social media. I was driving it really hard. I was a pharmacist, I was a retail manager. I had to do everything. So you poured everything into it. So for those pharmacists out there who have closed your pharmacies, I stand by you. I know exactly what it feels like. But that's not to say that pharmacy is not a good profession to be in. There's so much change that we can do, that we can help facilitate in the health space at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I was imagining the word innovation came up, because it is a wave. The Chemist Warehouse, the Australian Chemist Warehouse wave is a wave of change that made a lot of people think again about what they were doing and about how they can stand out and how they can remain standing, stand out and remain standing amongst this impact that has come. Chemist Warehouse does trigger a lot of pharmacists, and a lot of pharmacists really feel upset about the brand. If I had the brand director or the founder of Chemist Warehouse sit in this room, what questions would you have? What would you say to them?
Well, he was trying his best, right? We're all trying our best. He was trying to think of the model to expand. So I don't hold any grudges against him because we're all trying our best. That's all I can say, really, because it's such a big, I don't know, monstrosity now that whatever I say is not going to change anything.
No.
All I can change is my own response and my actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this why you moved out of pharmacy and had to sell your pharmacy back home in Dunedin?
Not quite. It's possibly the COVID response because at that time I had 2 pharmacies, and to coordinate the response in 2 inner city pharmacies, it was huge, right? Because nobody knew what was happening. And what really got to me was the fear of the community. As soon as 1:00 TV streaming will go live at 1, when that finishes, we will get phone calls. It will ring non-stop. And it was all driven by fear. And I also, at that stage, felt like I had a lot of power because I am sitting on, COVID vaccinations. I can decide who to give the last dose to. And I was like, hang on a minute, I don't like this power. Everyone should have their own power. So I think that really shifted the perspective for me, that I want to be in a space where I help people gain their power back. Yeah, so that's why I pivoted to become a coach. At that time, my own family was going through health challenges as well. So I had to pull back from pharmacy. So I think I had this space to really think, what's next? So it was a space that I was given that I could really evaluate. And I think nowadays a lot of people don't have the space to reflect. Yeah.
So what I am hearing is that pharmacy is not the same as it used to be. For people who are owning pharmacies right now, who have businesses, what do you think how do you think they're coping right now?
They're all trying to survive. They're all worrying about their bottom line, obviously. Not saying that all pharmacy businesses are bad. In certain pockets of New Zealand, you can still have, make a good living. But we just have to work that much harder for a lot less because the health system's being squeezed. So the pharmacist has to do more and more. And yet we're only getting paid, I don't want to say less and less, but we're doing more for less. So I guess, pharmacists are now, we just have to be a little bit more savvy. It's like, we've got the vaccination season coming up, right? It's March, April. So how else can we add value to that? So we have to think quite differently.
So would you say that COVID was one of the lowest points in your business life? Or was it that actually helped you shift your thinking into a whole completely different
I think it was
direction?
A blessing in disguise. It's a reset that everyone needed. I needed it. Everyone needed it.
I did too.
Yeah, I think it's a blessing in disguise, and it is really important to think back and reflect what you've learned from it. Yeah, and they talk about a post-traumatic recovery. Think of the trauma that you've had and look at it as, how can I recover from this rather than keep dwelling in it? Yeah, so that's how I choose to look at it. Blessing in disguise.
And is this how you ended up training to become lifestyle medicine, mental fitness, and metabolic health and all these sort of things? Is that when you began learning these things? Yeah,
absolutely, because I had this space because I wanted to be home for my family. I had this space and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do during the day? And then this Precure coaching organization was really active on social media, and I was like, I could do that. That's definitely up my alley. So I went through the training, really enjoyed it. Yeah, so I was like, there's got to be a better way of doing medicine now.
So, but before we actually delve deeper into the whole new Lee, you also obviously had pharmacies, up to 3 pharmacies, and from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective, how did it actually perform from a revenue and profit point of view?
So I didn't know that till I owned the second pharmacy that has been in operation for more than 35, 40 years. So I would say that startups are extremely hard because you've got to obviously start from nowhere. So if you're going to invest in a pharmacy, it's better to go into an existing pharmacy with a solid database. So the profit there is definitely a lot more rewarding compared to a startup pharmacy. And plus, it also depends on your location, right? We're in a more where the foot traffic can be quite low at times. So we had to do lots to draw people in. So it really depends on the mix of the pharmacy. Yeah.
How about your pharmacies? Like you've owned 3.
Yep.
What was the profit like?
Sure.
How much money were you able to make in a year?
Yeah.
And then how did you see that across the 30 years?
Yeah. So I guess the first one I can't remember much because that's so long ago. The second one, I guess I was being paid as a business manager. So we were, earning more than $100,000 a year. Plus you get the profit. The profit took a long time to come. From memory, it took 7 years for us to break even, to make money.
Really?
Yep. But then I was paid as a business manager. So
You were paid anyway.
I was paid anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it took a long time, right? Because the setup cost, I think from memory, it cost more than $1 million to set up that pharmacy. And of course, you have to service your loans and all those things. So it didn't really make money till halfway. Yeah, so we were open for, I think, about 12 or 13 years. I really should know that. You see, I'm choosing to block it out. Yeah, and then the third one was a Uniken that is so established in the community, is right next to the supermarket. And man, profit just flowed.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's about location for pharmacy.
It's all about location.
So what's the best location if someone wants to own a pharmacy?
Next to the supermarket.
Right.
Yeah. Or the doctors, depending on which one. But I think for me, both pharmacies were not located near any doctors. However, the one near the supermarket is right next to the hospital, so that probably helped as well. Yeah, so hospital, doctors, supermarket.
This is a good point. And for people who still feel really called to the profession, it's really a profession that you need to be called for. And because I remember in the days of being in pharmacy, the majority of the pharmacies that I worked for were very busy. And when it's busy, it's busy. You have no time to eat and you're always standing on your feet. What I really felt about pharmacy is that you always stood on your feet for very long periods of time. And that just boggled me. Like, it's such a hard, like physically difficult profession and exhausting, mentally exhausting. Was that the case for you, or were you?
Oh, I love that. It's quite interesting, right? Okay, so my dad is a diabetic. All my siblings are pre-diabetic. Okay, yeah. I'm not. So in my 12, 15 years owning a pharmacy, I had the same lunch every day. It's sushi from around the corner. I have a tab there and the girls will pick it up for me. So then I will sit down and eat that sushi for 10, 15 minutes. Then I'll be up on my feet again. But I did not get insulin resistance because I was constantly walking around. So in hindsight, that was actually a blessing in disguise. And also when you're moving around a lot, it also dissipates a lot of stress and cortisol and adrenaline.
Right.
So it's not all bad. In hindsight, I'm like, it's actually not all bad that I stood on my feet for 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you look at the positive side of things. I'm very much the same.
I've just learned from that experience.
Yeah.
I was like, why did I not get diabetes? Why did I not get insulin resistance? Yeah.
So jumping now into almost like the new era for you, reinventing yourself into getting into health and coaching and things like that. Tell me what are you up to right now? How are you making use of what you've learned in this day and age?
It's funny that you said reinventing. I wasn't really thinking about reinventing. I'm just thinking about how to follow my purpose and my passion and what actually feels good in my gut. And through the mental health coaching, we did this values finder exercise. So I then found out that my values are service, excellence, and innovation. So, and that's quite evident in what I've done, right, over the last 20, 30 years in business. So once you living true to your values, then things just flow, right? Because I still want to service my community, and I'm still striving for excellence, and innovation has always been my thing. Yeah, so everything just kind of landed at the right time.
I love that. So you must have done that that questionnaire that you've done to figure out your values. How important was that to figure out your next step?
So important. It really helps with anyone that is feeling a little bit lost in life, or feeling, anxious or depressed, because once you're living life going towards your personal values, you will feel energized. So every day, if I was just sitting at home watching Netflix, then I'm not of service to anyone. I'm not innovating, and I'm not striving for excellence. So that's when I coach people. I do help them move towards their values and think about what you're doing right now. Is it pulling you away from where you want to go, or is it taking you towards that? So not saying that watching Netflix is a bad thing. Sometimes you just have to do it to protect yourself. So values, personal values are super important, because once you feel like giving up, you remind yourself of your values. Then you can pick yourself up again.
So what are you doing right now? How are you becoming this health extraordinaire, master health coach? How are you making a difference and being excellent and innovating?
Oh gosh, Mina, you ask such good questions. So I recently relocated from Dunedin to Arrowtown because my husband's been living there for a couple of years. So I've already have 2 other businesses that I've set up that is not pharmacy related.
So you started 2 new businesses after you've left pharmacy, or were you having those 2 businesses while you were doing pharmacy?
One I set up 10 years ago.
While you were doing pharmacy?
While I was doing pharmacy.
So what was that business?
It's a laser and skin clinic.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So at that stage, laser hair removal was becoming really popular, and no one in the South Island, I don't think, or in Dunedin was doing it. So being the innovator that I am, I'm like, I wonder what the market will be like if I started laser hair removal. So I also had a team member that was very valuable to me, and she was getting bored. So we're like, okay, let's do something together. So then I bought an existing beauty clinic and changed it into a laser clinic. And that was 10 years ago. So I was very passionate about skin. Yeah. I was very passionate about natural health. And I think that was a way for me to be able to channel that energy towards that area.
How did that business go? How is it? Do you still run it?
Yep. So it is still existing. Obviously 5 years into it, we had COVID. So when I was the market leader, it was exclusive to us. We did extremely well. But then other competitors moved in. Our lovely Australian chain clinics moved into Dunedin, and that impacted us. But I was very clear from the beginning to do laser hair removal really well. When you do anything with excellence, it's very difficult for someone else to copy. So I was very, very clear from the start. That was my market positioning. So then I was able to protect the market, the clients who want really good quality laser hair removal, not your cheap and cheerful. So I was still able to capture that market.
How have you how have you been able to build it and scale it? First year and then maybe now, how have you seen the revenue change? How much have you been able to scale it to? as a laser hair removal business?
It's funny. It's not even scaling, it's rebuilding, because COVID really, really impacted the beauty industry because we're in a touch industry, right? So hard. Even now, I'm still rebuilding the businesses. And at that time, it was very difficult to get team members as well. And then our city council decided to do a major infrastructure up in Dunedin, in the middle of town. So that severely impacted the laser clinic. And I don't know how I survived those days, but I did. So that's why I said now I'm really rebuilding. So last year we did not decline, which I'm like, yay, that is amazing. Because with the cost of living crisis, not everyone wants to spend money to look good.
Yeah. Cutting the extra nice to have.
Absolutely. So funny that you say scaling. I'm like, no, it's actually rebuilding. Let's be honest here.
So is it, as a business, are you able to say that you've kept it open, obviously, and it's covering its costs and things, but from a business owner point of view, like bird's eye view, looking at the business, how you've handled the business since? So the business has been running for 10 years, the skincare one. Do you? I don't know. Like, how is the strategy? Did you get someone to help you throughout, or were you just trying to figure it out on your own? Mind you, now that you have a lot of experience as a pharmacist owner, so you would have a big idea of how to operate a retail business from scratch. Yeah.
And I think the reputation helped, right? Because we're in a small city, and so I think my reputation really helped the business. So I, interestingly, 3 years ago, I decided to open a wellness center.
Okay, that's separate from the laser hair removal.
Separate, but they're kind of intertwined, because when things got really, really tough, I moved the laser clinic into the wellness center, because the roadworks was taking, I think it took like 2 years. No one was going to town, and the public perception was like, oh no, I don't want to go into town. Oh, the traffic will just be awful.
Yeah.
So that really impacted the business. So I moved the laser clinic into the wellness center, even though I still had 1 year of lease payment to go. So that was a decision that just felt right.
Yeah.
And during that time, I also had to close Life Pharmacy. So there was a lot of things going on. And one thing that I keep saying to myself is like, oh my gosh, you have hit rock bottom. Your feet have been cut by the rocks. They are bleeding. But the only way is to use those rocks to push you back up. And that was what I keep saying to myself during those very, very, very difficult few months.
Yeah. And because you're operating now with physical retail stores with big ticket, like very costly running costs, like high running costs. Like, we're not talking about a few thousand. It's always like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you lose something, that you're going to lose it all. I want to get into how you have coped. You personally have coped. I want to stick to the business for now. And so by now, you, as a business owner, pharmacist, you've sold something, you've sold the pharmacy, you don't have any more pharmacy ties, but now you have this laser clinic that wasn't doing well due to all these external factors. It's funny how there's a bit of a running theme in your story where there's a lot of these external factors that have come in that have challenged your operation, and how you have innovated to dance with it. Basically, okay, we're going to come and get in my way. I'm going to just dance with you. I'm going to turn you around, and they're going to let you go, and then I'm going to go back and finish off my dance.
Absolutely. You just have to constantly reframe. Otherwise, life is challenging, right? So you just got to look at the silver lining. You just got to think of what else can I do, rather than wasting the energy worrying about something. I always think, if I pick up this ball of energy, let's say is, 10 kg, what can I do with that 10 kg of energy? What can I channel that 10 kg towards something that will really help me move towards where I want to go?
Yeah.
So that's how I mentally reframe Yeah, all the time.
Why did you start the Wellness Centre? And can you tell us a bit about what that is? And
that's a good question. I ask myself that question every single day. Why did I ask? So we were lucky through the pandemic because my husband's investment had come into fruition and we had funding available. And I was like, I'm in a position to help people. I know how to set up a wellness center. I have the tools, I have the skills, so I have to do it. So again, maybe that falls into my service values once again.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things I couldn't control, but I could control the outcome of the wellness center. So I think I have always practiced, I'm not going to worry about what I can't control. But what can I control is this.
So is it you started it because you had the money?
Yes, we had funding. We were extremely fortunate.
Yeah. So you had a whole bunch of money. You're like, how can I invest this money? I'm going to do a wellness center because
I had to help people.
You wanted, you really felt that there was a gap. What did
Absolutely.
you see? What did you see?
You know, the mental well-being of people in those days were just shocking. People were just struggling. You hear of all sorts of things. Of people not coping. So I'm like, oh my gosh, coaching, that's the answer to everything. Lo and behold, it wasn't.
Why do you say that?
The cost of living crisis. You know, people are just not in a situation where they can fork out money to come and see a wellness coach. Yeah. So there's a coaching philosophy. You always have to meet people where they're at. So the market is at a certain stage. So I just had to keep pivoting to that market.
I love that. I'd love to get deeper into that. So you pivoted around the market by establishing, again, yet another physical retail store where people come in and have their sense of well-being restored.
Is that would trend again because saunas, infrared saunas were like popping up everywhere.
Okay.
So ice bath saunas, worldwide, they're just a global sensation and is, not advertised, but is publicly known that is going to be this beyond cure of everything. So again, that's me again thinking, oh my gosh, I have to be the first person to bring it to Dunedin. See the running theme?
Yes.
I have to be the first person to bring a live pharmacy to Dunedin. I have to be the first person to do Eyebrow Bar. I have to be the first person to do laser hair removal. I have to be the first person to do saunas and ice baths.
Okay, and were you the first person to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what drives me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And how did that go? And do you still run that?
Yeah, we're still up and running. We're nearly into our third year of operations. And again, it was super, super tough because, again, roadworks. We opened in the middle of...
I can almost predict your next story.
Oh, really? Roadworks. But again, you just got to keep on going. You just got to have this belief that everything will be okay.
On the bright side, at least your roads are getting fixed.
Eventually. Eventually. It got fixed, and that was about a year or two.
It's kind of the same situation as the Auckland Queen Street saga and the underground railway station that has taken 10 years to build a railway station across one street. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, that's not very accurate. I'm not going to be controversial here, but too long, a lot of businesses shut, a lot of businesses suffered. So it's a real headache having a physical business with external factors like that you can't do much about. What do you do? So tell me about how are you running this business and how are you trying to make it successful right now?
So at the beginning when we opened, it was, people were curious, so people were coming through, and I had this massive idea that, oh my gosh, everyone's going to come to yoga because that's what we all need to come out of the pandemic. But man, was I wrong.
Why is that?
that's not what people wanted. People were still, I don't know, recovering, but the trend of reformer Pilates was starting to take off. So instead, we pivoted to reformer Pilates because yoga and breath work is just work, right? Because people think, oh, I got to go and sit there for half an hour or 45 minutes. So so people were just not gravitating towards that in Dunedin anyway. It's probably different elsewhere. So we pivoted to reformer Pilates, and then we were able to use this new concept of, saunas and ice bath and Pilates, in facials and massages. So that's how we kind of pivoted. I'm a firm believer of you've got to have a multiple income streams. Yeah. So we're still pivoting, and now I'm pivoting to putting in a communal sauna, because social well-being is on the up. So over the next few months.
Social well-being?
Yeah. Have you heard of that term?
No.
All over the world, especially New York, London, Miami. So people have raves in a big sauna.
Where else are going to be raving? Raving in a sauna.
That's what they do
like
now.
A big giant sauna that people just get into it.
Yeah. So they listen to music, and so that is a way of connecting. So they're talking about the Gen Z, I think. They're just they're drinking less alcohol and they care more about their well-being. So they're gravitating towards this type of belonging. Like down at Dunedin, we have so many run clubs. Every Friday at 4:45 a.m. they wake up, they meet at a certain place and they go running.
Right.
So it's a real community thing. Yeah. So I've pivoted to a bit of social well-being.
Okay.
And
so do you have a big, massive sauna in the wellbeing centre now with everyone that gets into it?
Well, we're not having raves. So we're pivoting, making one of the rooms into a communal sauna. And at the same time, I'm really, really mindful not to overcapitalize, because we've already invested so much into the space. And, the Eyebrow Bar concept, right? You just don't want to spend too much and go, oops, it didn't work. Yeah, so I've learned a lot of valuable lessons.
Can you give me a specific example of how not to overcapitalize in this current project of yours right now?
I am so overcapitalized. I keep thinking, how am I going to get my money back? Ever.
Can you flesh it out? What does that mean for someone who's wanting not to make that mistake of spending too much money to something that they don't know about? Like if you have to have a social sauna, you have to spend money to get the sauna itself. Like that's a basic. And then you have to go running water. And then the heat, the costs. What you have to invest. I mean, that is a lot of money anyway. How are you going to not overcapitalized? What, not the next sauna, not the second one, not open it for long hours? Like, how does that look like?
Perfect example.
Yeah.
So we have a beautiful courtyard in our space, and I had an athlete approach me. He wanted to invest in the business. He said, Lee, I want to start up like a recovery option in your space. Let's go into partnership together. So then we had the costing. We had people to come and have a look. Yeah, it's going to cost $200,000, right? Then I did my homework backwards, and I worked out how many people do I have to get through the doors to recoup that money. Then I also have to think, it's just not going to work, right? Because you got to think that's just too much. We are in a small city, population $120,000. I'm talking about dollars. 120,000 people.
That's actually very low.
Exactly.
Is that with all the students?
Yeah.
Because it's a student town.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then at the end, I just said, sorry, this is just not going to work.
Yeah.
So I pivoted away from that idea. So that was a good 12, 18 months ago. So I kept revisiting the idea, and then through lots of, thinking, I was like, I'll just convert this whole room into a communal sauna, and I'm going to put a hole through the wall between two rooms. Because I've also observed over the last 3 years that cost of living crisis really is a barrier for a lot of people. So I only need 2 infrared saunas. I don't need 3. So you see what I mean? Like a lot of things you actually have to learn from experience. You have to just do it and go, yay, it's working, or no, it's not working.
So are people investing to get into the health and wellness space and be in a wellness, like I'm going to go in, I'm going to do 10 sessions, pay for 10 sessions and then come in whenever I want? Because there's also a running theme is that you are very observant of what's going on in the trend wise. I mean, the trend, whether we like it or not, is a big word, and that you have really you've doubled down on trends throughout your story. And you've always seen what's going really well, and you also seen what's happening around you, like the way that people are able to make money and afford stuff. And now you've come to a point where you have, you've the social wellness, the social raving in a spa, and the way that people afford. How is that working for you right now in the current business?
So in a way, we're lucky that we're in Dunedin or New Zealand, because we're always about 5 years behind Australia and probably 8 years behind New York or whatever. So it's very interesting observing the trends worldwide, right? Because once you see the trends, then you have time to be the market leader.
So is this what you've been able to do?
Yeah, because we're always behind.
Okay.
Yeah. It took my competitor about 3 years to put in the second laser in Dunedin. A beauty clinic had gone in and put in a laser hair removal device.
Okay.
But the last that I heard, they've actually gone out of that service because it's just not profitable. Because you have to be the market leader and you have to position yourself as a laser clinic. You can't be a spa doing laser hair removal.
Why not?
It's just the marketing and the public perception.
Can you expand on that? The positioning, you mentioned a number of words, positioning, market leading.
Because nowadays consumers are so easily confused because you're so bombarded. So when a potential customer is confused, you've lost them. So when you say you do laser hair removal, you're a laser clinic, people are very clear what they're signing up to. When you want to go to a spa, it should just be your spa. You see what I mean? That's something that I've learned over the last 10 years in business.
You have a brick building and you offer multiple things, but you choose to market one thing because you were saying if you confuse your potential buyer, they might walk away.
They're just going to walk.
Too hard. Too much. Even if you gave people 2 choices these days, it becomes an overload.
Too hard. It's just overload.
So what I'm hearing is one thing and one service, one problem. You are offering you've just said that you've got multiple hats that you're wearing. So you can solve many problems, but your key thing is to market yourself as a one problem. I am here to solve one problem for one target market by doing one thing. How do you pick what to promote? How do you pick if you have 2 things, if you have spa, and by the way, spa and laser hair and all the rest of it are examples that you have people back home listening thinking, I've got multiple things going on in the background. I just keep getting confused about what is working, what is not. So how do you make the decision what to market?
So you got to really understand your market, right? You got to really understand who you are. Otherwise, people don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So for me, I probably haven't told your audience that recently we bought a day spa, a really, really established day spa. And I see it fitting into the ecosystem of what I'm trying to achieve. So you know how we talked about coaching philosophy? We want to meet people where they're at. So people are reaching out to have a massage because they are stressed and they have a problem. They don't know about the coaching solution.
They don't want to talk about it yet. They want to feel it first.
Yeah. So then I have very purposefully really, I'm very, very clear what each business has to offer. Because if you start to put laser hair removal into the spa, it really dilutes what the spa does well. So that's, and plus, because Dunedin is so small, if I was in Auckland, it would be a different story. So you just got to know your market, I would say. You've got to know your market well.
Are you saying that you look at your market? We're going to look into Dunedin because this is where your business is, and then we will maybe extrapolate. Let's say if you were in Auckland, what would you do? So you're in Dunedin. It's a small town. It's a student town. 120,000 people. You have a brick business, and you've got laser hair removal, and you have a spa, plus ice bath, and some raving, or not, maybe not raving, but social wellness. Social wellness is so key. So walk me through your thinking of, okay, this is my target market. Who are they? What are they looking for? If I talk about that this way, they're going to think like that. Actually, no, I need to do it this other way, and so on and so forth. So walk me through your market. Why do you think, who is it? And why did you make a decision based on that and based on other factors that allowed you to be so focused and specific on that? Yeah.
So the Wellbeing Centre, I really don't like the word wellness centre because it's so overused.
Yeah.
See, everyone is entitled to good well-being, right? So it's very difficult to pinpoint a market. So I have to appeal to everyone. So again, I tap into the trends, like we had events where students will do their run club, and then they have breath work and breakfast actually at our space because we're celebrating Mental Health Awareness Week. So I'm raising awareness of mental health. See what I mean? I use trends and I tap into the health component and just raise awareness that way. Yeah. And I was able to do that because of my health background.
So I still don't understand.
You don't understand?
Okay. I want to get, if you had a business and you had a brick and mortar, I have a laser hair removal, and I have other bits and pieces that it's offered, which one raises to the top and becomes my focus of my marketing? Which one and why, and how did you get there?
I'm thinking of the space that I'm in, because the wellness space, well-being space.
Sorry, if I said wellness, I'm sorry. It's well-being.
No. It's okay. I always say it as well. So in the well-being space is all about experience. It's beautiful, aesthetically pleasing.
Nice to be in a place.
Nice to be in. People go in, they go, so calming. So then in a sense, that's like a marketing draw card. It's all about experience. And I think they talk about social media now as interest media. It's all about experience. So I guess we're pivoting to experience, because with the social well-being that we're talking about is all about people wanting to connect because they've got this experience of being super hot. So that in a way is marketing. How do I don't know.
So basically what you're saying is your standout moat, and if you have a moat, you want to raise it to the top. And your moat, you're very much like, so how you stand out is the experience aspect. It's no longer it's how the environment around it is what's really good. And that's what is rising to the top and going, this is what people really will connect with, because A, it's on the rise, and B, it's what people are looking for.
Spot on, because of the stories, the TikTok and what have you, right? So now
So this means that you had to be across all of these channels to understand what is being spoken about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to be across a lot of trends and understand.
You do, absolutely, yeah, because the space, you're going to get really hot and you're going to get really cold, and you're going to have zero gravity because we have a float, and you're going to do reformist Pilates, you're going to be stretched. So and you're going to be massaged. So everything's all about experience. So I think how we market, that's my unique selling point.
Yeah.
It's the experience.
Yeah.
When you walk in, you feel tense. When you walk out, you float out.
You're on cloud nine.
Yeah. So you see what I mean? So that's using the experience to market.
Gotcha.
And then other people will help you, or the influencers will help you.
Yeah.
But we don't have that many influencers in Dunedin.
Yeah.
But when people do promote us, it's on social media.
What was the third business that you are running right now?
So a couple of weeks ago, we took over a really established day spa in a more affluent suburb in Dunedin. It's literally 5 minutes up the hill from the wellbeing space. And that client base is so loyal to that spa that is almost impossible to get them to come down the hill, because there's a physical barrier. People do not want to go down the hill because of parking. And the hill is not even like that hilly.
So is it on top of the hill? The clinic?
Yeah, but it's literally 5 minutes. So it's in a nice wee community suburb, kind of like, I don't know, Parnell or Ponsonby.
Okay.
Yeah. So we took over that about 2 weeks ago. So again, I want to have the health conversation. Longevity is going to be so massive in the health space. And I'm like, I want to have that conversation. Even in skin, it's all about longevity of skin now. It's all about internal nutrition. It's all about cortisol, aging you faster. And all the major cosmetic companies are really, talking about stem cells. They're really talking about genetics. So that's another reason why we purchased into that, to really form an ecosystem. So now I can tell the full story to 3 very separate segments of the market. They're all intertwined.
So each business serves a different sector of the market.
Yeah, but they're all intertwined. And, when I see one client crossing over to another business, I do a happy dance. I'm like, yes, I have succeeded.
Okay.
Yeah. You see what I mean? So they're all intertwined.
And yeah, I see what you mean. So the day spa, does it offer the same thing as your other business? Does it offer the same?
Yeah, there are some crossovers, but massages are just huge up the hill. So fascinating, right? So again, things like that you can't be taught. You just learn from experience.
Yeah.
Hindsight, as they say, a beautiful thing.
If you had to have that wellbeing center, I was careful not to say wellness.
We can say wellness center.
It's actually, genuinely, I don't see any difference between wellness and well-being. It's actually easier on the tongue.
Exactly.
Wellness center, well-being. Yeah. So for me, it's the same. But well-being center, if you had the well-being center in Auckland, you were saying it will be a completely different thing. How would you market it?
I think if I had spent that same amount of money and put in a space in Auckland with the same amenities, we will do very well, because it was a huge space. It's about 700-800 square meters. But obviously I'm not in Auckland. So I would still market it as the same, really. It's all about experience, but with a health approach.
Yeah.
Because of my background.
Because why would you market it differently if the experience is what's selling right now? Yeah.
And that experience is what people are craving for, and that experience is what people are curious about. Oh, I wonder what it's like to be in a 6-degree ice bath. See what I mean? The curiosity. And it's the next trend. So the cafe conversations. Oh, have you tried the ice bath yet? Have you been to that floating sauna yet? It's on trend.
Wouldn't Auckland, like a different market, I mean, this will be my last question in terms of that, but wouldn't Auckland have different type of people? Less students, more professionals, more older people maybe, or less older people. Wouldn't that influence your business? If someone's thinking, where do I start a business? By the way, this conversation is not really online business so much, because it's very much like a physical business conversation. So if someone is thinking, do I start a business in Auckland or do I start in Dunedin? The benefits of smaller town versus big city.
I think we all have our different challenges. By talking to certain business owners up in Auckland, it's just as tough. It's just as tough.
Yeah.
As cost of living crisis.
It's actually more expensive in Auckland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just got to know your market and just work with your market and be ready to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've explored how a business can be run and how can it be profitable. Perhaps you might want to tell me, and now moving forward, I want to get your insights into what do you see as a trend. You're welcome to stay with your niche or expand, but what do you see as a trend that you want to be tapping into that is going to be the next big thing?
So I always say the world is just moving so much faster now, right? With AI, it's very important that we get grounded. This is a big part of my coaching philosophy. I see people getting overwhelmed because they're just not grounded in their body. They're not mindful. So I want to say that the faster that the world moves, the slower you have to move. Otherwise, you will get spun out of control. So just be really mindful, is all I can say, and just get grounded. Lots of breathing, knowing, what it feels like to be super stressed out, and then knowing how to tap into your body's innate wisdom to get out of that. Yeah, so when the world speeds up, you have to slow down.
So imagine that I have slowed down now and I'm in a position to, if I'm sitting down, everything is spinning around me. What do you see spinning around you right now? What do you notice? Maybe in the AI space, I'd love to maybe get into, the AI space. As a health expert in many ways, where do you see the opportunities are with AI?
I think obviously there are lots of opportunities, but we just don't know yet because it's changing so fast that no one can predict, right? When you listen to different experts, they all have different opinions.
Exactly.
So I always think that you just got to stay in your lane and do what you do well, but obviously at the same time not ignoring AI, still get to know what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you see yourself remaining in the physical business space? Brick and mortar?
I think being in an experience business, yes.
This is what you know.
And the human connections and service. So I think so. I can't see myself moving into a purely online because I think I will miss that connection too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the biggest lessons from your lived experience of business?
Self-compassion. Yeah. So that's something that we haven't touched on. I reckon having learnt that skill, it has really helped me through the last 5 years. So I didn't know it right from the beginning. I started to know it about a year ago. So here goes. Hopefully I can remember 5 steps really well.
Go for it.
So it's the number one thing to remember is acknowledge what you're going through. Acknowledge how hard it is, accept how hard it is. Don't underplay it, right? Because what you're going through is significant. It might seem small to someone else, but it is significant for you. The second one is a question that I love the most. I ask myself this question all the time, is what do I need the most right now? Is it a cup of tea? Is it a hug? Is it just silence? Is it a nature walk? Just whatever. You don't have to think it, think too much about it. Just the first thought that pops in. Third one is common humanity. Humans were just here, I want to say, to struggle, which we kind of are. So we're all struggling here. So we're all humans.
Yeah.
And also think about what other people are going through as well. Everyone's going through the same thing, just different degrees here and there. And the fourth thing is talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend or a child. A lot of us have really, really harsh inner self-talk. And apparently there's 70,000 thoughts a day and 75% of them are repetitive and negative. So every single cell in your body is listening to your thought. So when you're constantly being negative to yourself, your cells are like stressing out big time. Cortisol levels go up and insulin response is blunted, glucose response, things like that. Yeah. So the fifth thing is that if you want to write a letter to yourself, you can as well. But yeah, the most important, I always remember, top 3 is acknowledge, accept what you're going through, accept how hard it is, really dive deep into those feelings. Number 2 is, what do I need the most right now? And number 3 is like, whoa, this is human doing stuff. You're being a human. It is supposed to be difficult. And while you're doing all that, put a hand on your heart, because that is a physical reassurance that your body is listening to your mind and your mind is listening to your body. So the mind-body connection is huge for me. And when I coach my clients, that comes through as well.
That's awesome. Thank you. It's really key to slow down, and something that I don't do very well. So I'm always on the go, but definitely learning it's a constant learning experience. So it's good to learn and be reminded of the importance of slowing down, especially now, as you were saying. And where to from here for you? Where do you see yourself? Where would you like to be investing your time, your energy? What do you see as worthy to be invested in?
Wow, precision medicine, wellness, genetic markers, biomarkers, that's really, really exciting. So I was approached recently by a company that I had worked with when I used to own a pharmacy. It's all about testing your genetic markers, the wellness markers like your inflammation, how well you tolerate stress and things like that. So once you know your type or your genetics, then you can really tap into your human potential. For me, the reason why I opened the wellness center is because apparently I can handle stress. I can drink coffee at 10 p.m. and still go to sleep. So I'll be like, okay, if I can handle stress, I'm going to go and do this massive stressful thing. So so I think there's a lot of exciting things happening in that realm of medicine. Would love to be involved because I'm really big on nutrigenomics as well, which is how nutrients can really impact your health. And with AI, I think that has a lot of advantage. Yeah,
I actually realized that I've had a podcast episode with Dr. Gail Pearson, who's a nutrigenomics advocate. She was an anesthetist.
Yeah, I listened to that podcast.
Did you? Yeah. And she's really big on nutrigenomics and even sent me some samples to try. And I don't know if I can tell the difference between before and after, but she's so passionate about it. Being a doctor, that's not what you do. So, the fact that you mentioned nutrigenomics make me think, it is. I think it's on the rise, and I'll be interested to hear more about it maybe because you have a podcast.
Yes, that's on the back burner at the moment because, not being physically in Dunedin is that little bit harder. So I'll have to explore options in Queenstown. Yeah.
I can connect you.
Yay! Is it Mountain Club?
No, I used to work as a journalist. My first gig, I was in Queenstown, so
wow.
I know some of the people there.
Oh, cool.
And definitely, I'm sure. I don't know if there's a community radio in Dunedin, Queenstown.
I don't think so. Yeah,
but I'm sure you can make something work.
Yeah,
or you can just set up your own.
So I think I would like to work more in the woman space.
Right.
And, with such a big database of woman clients, I think that's going to be the next thing, hopefully, that they're looking for is how to age well and, how to really look after yourself well internally. Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Well, it's been such a great thing to have the time to chat because There's so much to learn from your experience, and if both of us die and you would leave people with one thought, one comment, one advice, what would it be?
Slow down. I think the world's just moving too fast for what we're humanly possible. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Just slow down. Technology is making our brains speed up so fast. Yeah, slow down.
Thank you, Lee. It's been such an honor. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.